Whether you have to catch a flight, have a long drive home, or even visit the port city after your cruise, these tips, tricks, and mistakes to avoid will help you to get off the ship faster with the least stress possible. Hi there, I'm Ilana from the website lifewellcruise.com. Welcome back to my channel. Now, I really dislike Disembarkation Day. I don't think anybody does enjoy it, but something that I've realized is it's going to come whether you like it or not. And honestly, I want you to avoid one of the very big mistakes that I made because I didn't want to think about Disembarkation Day. Now, in addition to that, I discovered something new on my last cruise, and I did want to share this with you because it made my disembarkation morning so much better. Now, before I get into these tips, tricks, and mistakes to avoid, I did want to mention that if you like this video, if you find it helpful, informative, or enjoyable in any way, then please do give this video a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it, and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Let's get started. Now, before we get into the tips and tricks, let's just talk about briefly what disembarkation morning consists of. And by the way, if you haven't cruised in a couple of years, there have been a couple of pretty big changes that actually are making it a little bit faster. So this is something good. Now, on disembarkation morning, what's going to happen is you do need to vacate the cruise ship. Now, typically, you've got to vacate your cabin by about 8 a.m. on most cruise ships. Now, even if you want to extend that cruise feeling a little longer on disembarkation morning, I do have to warn you, the ship is going to feel different as the crew is cleaning up and getting that ship ready for the next guest. So at that point, what you want to do is you want to make your last morning as good as possible, but you also want to avoid some unfortunate delays. Number one, don't leave packing until the last morning. Now, unless you're a very experienced cruiser and or you are packing carry-on only, plan some time on the last full day of your cruise to get your luggage packed, even if you are doing self-assist luggage, which I will explain later on in the video. Number two, avoid the Lido buffet on the last morning of your cruise. Now, this might seem like it's the fastest option, but in our experience, it definitely isn't. Actually, on our last cruise, we went to one of the main dining rooms and we noticed it was not hectic at all. Now, when I spoke to the maitre d', he told me it's because most guests don't realize that the main dining room is often open on cruise ships, and they really have quite a quick express breakfast that you can try. Now, alternatively, you can look for other options. This may even include an express continental room breakfast. Now, don't forget to put that card out on your door before you go to bed. Number three, arrange for your disembarkation day luggage tags early on in the cruise. Now, I can be guilty of this, of just not even looking at the disembarkation day procedures and my luggage tags just because I want to ignore it for a little while. But that is actually a mistake. You'll want to look at the luggage tags, see what time they assigned you. If you have an early flight, you pretty much need to get off that cruise ship as early as possible. You can trade your luggage tags. You will need to go to guest services, but don't wait until towards the end of the cruise, as it is possible that they may not have all of the luggage tag colors available. Number four, purchase your airport transportation from the cruise line early. Now, if you need a shuttle from the cruise port to the airport or even to the city center, make these arrangements early on in your cruise. And you could usually do this even before your cruise as part of your cruise booking arrangements. But if you haven't done it yet, make sure that you do it early. Now, don't make my mistake. I waited on this on one of my cruises, and unfortunately, by the time that I got to day 5 or day 6 of the 7-day cruise, they were completely sold out. Don't leave tipping or saying your final goodbyes until the last morning of the cruise. So if you want to give an extra tip to your cabin attendant or a bartender, anybody else, then you'll want to do that the last day or the last evening of the cruise. Disembarkation day morning, even for saying goodbyes, it is possible that you will not see some of your favorite crew members that morning. Empty your safe completely before you vacate your cabin. Now, I like to empty my safe the night before the cruise. Make sure that everything is out. You don't want to leave this until the last minute when maybe you could forget something. Now, really imperative is if you do disembark the cruise ship and you've left your car keys on the ship or maybe your passport on the ship, it can be very difficult to get this back even on that very same day. So make sure that you do bring it with you. Now, I do have a couple of tips. These come from other cruisers. Now, one of these tips is you can leave a plastic bag in your safe and you put all of your items in there from the very beginning. So this way you take the whole bag right out of your safe and nothing is left there. Now, the other thing that some people say that they do is they leave a shoe in their cabin safe. And I guess the shoe that you are going to be actually leaving with the morning of the cruise. And that's another way to make sure that you don't leave anything there. Please let me know, how do you make sure that you leave nothing in your safe? Please let me know your tips and tricks down in the comments below. Now, by the way, if you're getting ready for a cruise and you do want to keep organized, I do have the LifeWell Cruise Ultimate Cruise Planner. Now, the LifeWell Cruise Ultimate Cruise Planner is a 47-page downloadable printable cruise planner that you can use to keep organized from the moment that you book your cruise all the way through embarkation and disembarkation, of course. Now, I put this together a couple of years ago because these were the steps that I took to really make sure that I did not forget a thing. So it includes an embarkation day checklist, it includes port of call information, daily planners, cruise outfit planners, and a disembarkation day checklist as well, so that you will not forget a thing. Now, if you are interested in seeing what's included in the LifeWell Cruise Ultimate Cruise Planner, I'm going to leave all of the information linked down below in case you do want to check it out. Do these things the last night of the cruise. Be sure to cash out at the casino. The casino is not going to be open disembarkation day morning. Now, if you have any non-refundable onboard credits, this is a time. Go to the gift shop if you need to, purchase some perfume, some photos, or a last-minute souvenir, but don't leave that non-refundable onboard credit there wasting away where you can't use it. If you've purchased any liquor during your cruise, your liquor is going to be delivered to your cabin the last night of your cruise. Now, if you do want to purchase any liquor the last night of your cruise, you can usually get this in the duty-free shop and bring it to your cabin, I think as long as it's after 6 or 7 p.m. If you've set up your onboard account as a cash account, make sure that you do pay this off the last day or the last evening of your cruise. Do not wait until disembarkation day morning, as you could be delayed. You will not be allowed to disembark the ship. Speaking of your onboard account, be sure to check your final invoice the last night of your cruise. Now, normally this is settled by around midnight, so you'll usually get an email with your onboard account. Check that carefully. But something that I do is, especially on the last day of the cruise, is I just take a look through my app, and you can usually see all of the different purchases that you may have made, even any additional onboard credit that's left. You can usually see that right there. So I really keep an eye on it through the cruise, but especially on the last day. Don't make any purchases the morning of the cruise. Now, what I'm talking about is some cruisers have said that they've made the mistake of even buying a coffee on the last morning of the cruise after their account was settled, and they had a problem disembarking from the cruise ship. So really be very careful with this, especially if you do not have a package. Get priority disembarkation. Now, don't we all want this? There are a few ways that you can get this. Now, one of those ways is purchasing an early embarkation and disembarkation program like Carnival's Faster to the Fun or Royal Caribbean's The Key. Now, the other ways is maybe you're staying in a suite. You are going to have priority disembarkation and you are going to get off that cruise ship with ease. Now, if you have a higher loyalty status, that is another way as well. Get special assistance. Now, this is often overlooked. I think a lot of people aren't aware of this, but if you have somebody in your party that's in, for instance, a wheelchair, you can get some special assistance from a crew member who is going to help you to navigate through the cruise port. This is going to mean taking the elevators instead of the escalators, and rather than somebody in your party pushing that wheelchair, a crew member is going to be able to assist, and this is going to go faster. Do not misplace your key card, or in the case of Princess, your medallion, or Virgin, your sailor band. You need these to disembark the cruise ship. It's very different from when you are at a hotel and you just can walk right out. Instead, you have to officially check out from the cruise ship for the last time. How can you get your luggage off the cruise ship faster? Well, basically, you've got two options when it comes to getting your luggage off the cruise ship. One of them is self-assist, or getting off the cruise ship independently with the luggage. And the other way is a checked luggage program. So checked luggage is basically traditional disembarkation. You'll have to put your luggage out with luggage tags, usually by around 9 p.m. the last evening of the cruise. You will have to look at the different procedures for your specific cruise line. Now, the advantage to this is that the crew members are going to take your luggage off the cruise ship and you're going to find them in the cruise port. However, this can sometimes mean waiting for your luggage if it hasn't yet arrived in the cruise port. If you have an early flight, you'll probably want to make sure that you keep your luggage with you, or maybe you're somebody who travels carry-on only, then this can be an option for you. So something to note is if you take your own luggage off the cruise ship, you are going to have to keep that luggage with you. And keep in mind that those elevators are usually very full on the last day of your cruise. So be prepared to carry them potentially down the stairs, or even to have your party break up a little bit if you do have to go one person at a time into the elevator. Now, while I don't think there's a wrong or right answer to this, something to keep in mind is even once you get off the cruise ship, there are escalators, and if you have really large luggage, this can be hard to navigate. Have your passports handy. Now, one of the newest things that's been around the last couple of years is facial recognition as you get into the cruise port and you do pass customs and immigration. Now, in the past, it was a pretty long procedure. It could add 10 to even 30 minutes sometimes as you were disembarking the cruise. But the last time that we got off our cruise ship in Manhattan, it was so fast. We simply walked up to the camera that looked like an iPad, stood there for perhaps 10 seconds. It did recognize us and we were on our way. Now, this might be a case to travel with a passport rather than just a birth certificate, as the lines for people with only a birth certificate tend to be long. Now, by the way, if this is your first cruise and you're still unsure as to how does Disembarkation Day work, don't stress about it, because on your cruise, along with the luggage tags, you are going to have a paper that is going to tell you more about the Disembarkation Day procedure. Oftentimes, you're also going to find that information on your app, and you're also going to be able to see that on your stateroom TV. Even at times, there is going to be a talk available in one of the lounges. Keep a little tag or keep one extra luggage tag with you so that when you do disembark the cruise ship, you can easily find your luggage. Now, I'm going to leave all of the information about the LifeWell Cruise Ultimate Cruise Planner linked down below in case you do want to check it out, but I'd love to hear from you. Please let me know, what are some of your Disembarkation Day tips and tricks, and do you like to get off the cruise ship faster? Please let me know down in the comments below, as well as any questions that you may have. Now, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give it a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Bye for now, and happy cruising.